Tonight on Fox 40, he's accused of terrorizing Northern California for years. And today, the prime suspect in a string of rapes, Roy Waller, faced a judge for the first time and was shaking his head at the charges. So how did he plead? We're live at the courthouse with the very latest on this case.
Also, a violent abduction, a little boy ripped from his mother's arms.
And I got in the car and I still couldn't get him. They pulled me out, they hit me.
So tonight, as police search for this Modesto father and his 6-year-old son, the young boy's mother speaking to Fox 40 about exactly what happened to her.
And back home from devastating Hurricane Florence, local crews touched down after days of working to save people who couldn't escape the monster storm.
News that matters. Fox 40 News at 5 starts now.
Police say it was a parental abduction. It happened early this morning. The Modesto mom says that somebody posed as a utility worker at her front door, and then before she knew it, she was fighting to keep her son from getting kidnapped. Glad you're with us tonight. I'm Eric Harriman.
And I'm Nikki Lorenzo. The mother of the little boy says her ex ripped the little boy from her arms as she tried to escape. Here's a photo of Jace Casso and his father, 41-year-old John Casso. Modesto police say the kidnapping happened on Poinsettia Drive. The two haven't been seen since.
Fox 40's Kay Racine joining us live in Modesto tonight. Kay, we know that you were able to talk to Mom about exactly what happened inside her home.
Well, she talked to us, and what she said just hit us in the gut. She says that she was trying to hold on to her son when she was ripped apart by 3 men. Now police have been searching for the father and son ever since. Even though Kimberly Valenti is in pain, she's still fighting to find her little boy, Jace Casso.
And I was holding on. I don't know who brought him.
Valenti says early Monday morning, a man posing as a utility worker knocked on her door on Poinsettia Drive in Modesto.
Had a badge and a fake uniform and everything, but it didn't feel right. He felt sketchy.
Valenti says she asked him to leave, but in the corner of her eye, she saw her ex, John Casso's car. Then another noise at the door.
Like banging and banging and banging and banging, and they all came in, they all charged in, they pepper sprayed my son, they pepper sprayed my sister.
Valenti says she ran to her 6-year-old, took him in her arms, and headed to the safety of her car.
Locked myself in the car because mentally I prepared for this, rolled up the windows, and backed up, and there was a car here.
With nowhere to go, she says her ex found a metal toolbox, and along with his older son and another man, the trio broke in.
I don't know, I feel like I couldn't get out. I probably could have run people over.
Trapped, Valenti and the boy could only scream.
And then they got the doors open, and him and his son were pulling me apart.
Valenti's father, Mike, says his grandson begged John not to take him.
He was crying, saying, "Dad, I don't want to go with you," and he didn't want to be with his father.
Now police are on the lookout for John. Valenti says he has 3 face tattoos, including Ohm in the middle of his forehead. Investigators say 3 men and 3 women were all involved in this kidnapping. The family just wants Jace back home.
I don't think he's going to hurt Jace. I don't think he's that stupid.
We spoke to a spokeswoman just a moment ago, and she says that investigators are still trying to get the license plate of the car that was involved in this abduction. If you have any information or if you have seen this father or son, please contact police. Live in Modesto, Kay Racine, Fox 40 News.
Kay, thank you. He is the man detectives are calling the NorCal rapist, and today Roy Waller faced a judge for the first time. The arraignment pretty short, but Waller could be seen shaking his head as the judge read aloud the charges against him. Fox 40's Doug Johnson was also in that courtroom today, joining us live now. Doug.
Eric, speaking with 2 of the victims, they say today was certainly an emotional roller coaster for them because while they are glad to see their alleged attacker has been captured, they say that seeing him face to face certainly wasn't easy.
I could order 6 years in session now.
Roy Charles Waller, the accused NorCal rapist, makes his first courtroom appearance since his arrest on Thursday.
That was the first time since Friday that I felt angry. It was the first time that I finally thought, yeah, there you are. And you look rather pathetic.
Nicole Ernest Pate says she was Waller's first victim, attacked in her Roner Park home back in 1991 when she was just 21 years old.
Went to bed at night, fell asleep on my couch, and I woke up with a gun to my head by a masked man. So.
She says she came to Sacramento all the way from Sonoma County in order to see Waller's face as the judge read aloud the charges against him.
I've been waiting every day of my life for 27 years for this moment, and I wasn't going to miss it. I was not going to miss it.
I then called the head of the panel, Teresa Huff, and she said, "We're not kidding. We want to give you the NorCal rapist case."
Joseph Farina is Waller's court-appointed attorney, and he says he still hasn't spoken to Waller, and in fact, he wasn't given much warning that Waller was even going to be his client.
Turned my car around and got down here in 15 minutes, which had to be a new land speed record. So I found out about 45 minutes ago.
However, Farina says he has handled several sex crime cases before, and he adds that DNA evidence is not always enough to convict.
The thing with DNA is it doesn't tell you that's the person.
He looked at me, and he looked at me with probably more fear than I ever had. So.
Rosalind Anderson was attacked by the NorCal rapist in Chico back in 1997. She says seeing Waller today was tough, but it also came with a sense of relief.
Relief that he's been caught. My entire thing for a long time was I didn't want it to happen to anyone else. And both victims that we spoke with today told us they have little doubt that Waller is the man who attacked them all those years ago. Reporting live from the Sacramento County Jail, Doug Johnson, Fox 40 News.
Doug, thank you. One of the suspects in the disappearance of 2 Woodland teens will be evaluated to see if they are fit to stand trial. Shandell Shannon Jr. was examined by a doctor, and that doctor determined that Shannon was unfit to face charges in the alleged murder of Elijah Moore and Enrique Rios because he deals with high-functioning autism. The court will reassess the charges against Shannon. That will happen on October 12th, while proceeding against co-defendant David Frost. Jury selection is expected to begin October 1st. And this just into our newsroom tonight. Fire investigators in Modesto want to find this man you see right here on your screen. Take a look right now. Surveillance video captured him walking around the Crescent Work and Outdoors warehouse right before the decades-old family-run business went up in flames. Now, you may remember this fire that sparked, here's the video, on 8th and I Streets. Right now, it's not clear if this is a person, if this person is a suspect, person of interest. We know that they are a person of interest. Anyone with information is urged to contact the Stanislaus Regional Fire Investigation Unit or Modesto Police.
The Stockton Fire Department investigating today after a play structure caught on fire. This happened last week, but the investigation well into this week. Flames broke out at the playground on Oak Park about 11 p.m. on Friday night. Crews knocked down the flames pretty quickly, but it did leave that play structure pretty damaged. And as you can imagine, if you've got kids, those local families who use that park, not so happy about this.
It's just sad to see that people can't appreciate something. The kids don't have nothing to do. Everybody wants to come and have a good time at the park.
That is their place. The cause of the fire is still under investigation, but this is coming after a string of incidents at playgrounds in Stockton. Officials say that the playgrounds at Weber Point and Constitution Park were set on fire last year.
A local crew returns home from North Carolina after helping with Hurricane Florence search and rescue efforts there. One of 2 California urban search and rescue teams sent to the storm got back today after a nearly 2-week deployment. Now, those local crews were able to help residents evacuate from the dangerous floodwaters just in time.
Everything went great. All the way from us getting out of Sacramento and getting over to North Carolina was a quick process of 51 hours driving. Once we got there, the welcome we got was unbelievable from North Carolina. Very open arms all over the place for us.
Captain Launcher went on to say teams were each assigned to specific counties and worked with local authorities there. He says the team will now get 2 days off and then will go right back to work.
It has been 1 week since that violent shootout that left the Sacramento County Sheriff's deputy, that is Mark Stasiuk, dead, and another deputy, his partner, hurt. And while our local crews continue to mourn the loss of one of their own, other departments are also paying their respects to, again, what happened 1 week ago today. Earlier this afternoon, officers from the Portland Police Bureau took a knee at the Growing Memorial just outside of the auto shop where that shooting happened. If you'll remember, backing up a week, it happened in Rancho Cordova, and Deputy Stasiuk's memorial service will be held officially this week on Saturday.
All right, we're going to head to Washington now, where the future of Deputy Attorney General Rod Rosenstein appears to be up in the air.
Yeah, we are learning that a meeting between President Trump and Rosenstein is now on the books for this week on Thursday. Omar Jimenez with the latest from Washington.
Rod Rosenstein, Deputy Attorney General and overseer of Special Counsel Robert Mueller's investigation, met with Chief of Staff John Kelly at the White House on Monday amidst reports he expected to be fired. This comes in the wake of a New York Times report that Rosenstein secretly discussed recording President Donald Trump and invoking the 25th Amendment to remove him from office, a report that Rosenstein has denied. White House Press Secretary Sarah Sanders said in a statement he and President Trump had an extended conversation to discuss the recent news stories. Trump responded to the reports from the United Nations General Assembly Monday.
I'm meeting with Rod Rosenstein on Thursday when I get back from all of these meetings, and we'll be meeting at the White House, and we'll be determining what's going on.
In the meantime, what remains unclear is the fate of Rosenstein's job.
This looks to me like a slow-moving Saturday night massacre. It seems like the only question is whether these steps take place now or they take place after the midterms when the president believes he'll pay less of a political price for it.
Trump appointed Rosenstein as Deputy Attorney General, but has expressed extreme frustration with him for months, partly over his decision to hire Mueller last year. Trump has repeatedly branded the Mueller investigation a witch hunt. All of this unfolding alongside a contentious Supreme Court confirmation process for Judge Brett Kavanaugh. Republican allies of the president have urged Trump to hold off on a purge of Justice Department officials until Kavanaugh is safely in place on the high court.
A lot still to figure out. Rosenstein oversees the special counsel's investigation into Russian meddling in the 2016 presidential election, trying to figure out whether any Trump campaign officials colluded with Russian officials.
Now, if Rosenstein leaves, it could spark immediate questions about the long-term job security of special counsel Robert Mueller. Meanwhile, the relationship between the U.S. and China has entered a new phase, with both superpowers taking financial strikes against each other by imposing their largest round of tariffs yet. So starting today, the Trump administration inflicted new 10% taxes on $200 billion worth of Chinese products. The goods that are impacted include baseball gloves, network routers, and food seasonings. The president says these taxes, they're working.
Tariffs have really had a positive impact. Number one, our country's taken in a lot of money. Number two, we're creating jobs like never before.
So Chinese officials say they will strike back with new taxes on American items like car parts, meat, as well as clothing. The top Democrat on the Senate Judiciary Committee, Dianne Feinstein, is calling for an immediate delay in Judge Brett Kavanaugh's proceedings.
Yeah, her name has been brought up many times in the last week related to this. All of this is happening, though, as another allegation of sexual misconduct against that Supreme Court nominee has surfaced. You'll remember the first one came through her. So the story was published in the New Yorker. A woman named Deborah Ramirez, who was a classmate of Kavanaugh's at Yale, well, she says that she remembers Kavanaugh exposing himself to her at what she describes as a drunken college party. So this is coming following the allegations from Palo Alto professor Christine Blasey Ford, who says that Kavanaugh sexually assaulted her when they were in high school. Judge Kavanaugh denies both of the allegations. He also sent a letter to the Judiciary Committee saying that he will not be intimidated into withdrawing from the process.
Gearing up for a new season. Coming up tonight, we get our first look at the new Kings roster. Mark Dembski checked in with some of the players and what they hope the new season will bring.
Also ahead for you tonight at 5:30, it is known as the Cannabis Cup, a festival dedicated to all things that are marijuana. And next month's event could be in jeopardy. Why one Sacramento city councilman says that he is frustrated with the whole thing.
All right, also coming up in our second half hour, a baby found crawling in the middle of the street. How the child got here in the first place, we'll explain.